Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how manifesting really works. Huge breakthrough in 24 hours. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video today. Want to talk about this client that I talked with twice now, last night and once before. Last night, it was to talk about this big breakthrough that she had. She had sent me an email saying, oh my gosh, such a breakthrough, but that's even a story, and didn't give me the details until last night. So I want to talk about her situation. What happened when we had first met? Well, she had been laid off and already in her third month of behind in rent. So she's feeling the pressure, right? And as we talked in our first session, she really got it. She was affirming and imagining all the things that we talk about, right? She goes, I just don't know what to do, what else to do. But she also was saying to me, you know, Tom, I know all this stuff. I could teach it. I know it all intellectually, but here it is again. And I hear this often. That's the story she was telling. I know it intellectually, but I know I am that, but. Do you see it? And so she was still telling a story, still in a state of being, of waiting for more inner and outer evidence or confirmation that she is already that person she wants to be. She's already that reality, right? She was looking for more evidence to be convinced, right? Remember, the 3D personality loves to wait in doubt, loves to say, I am not, right? So remember, you are the evidence of what you want and desire. It's already fulfilled and manifested. The inner reality, and therefore must unfold within the awareness in your physical world. You are the evidence. I am that what you desire, what you want is already fulfilled and manifested. You're that evidence, that inner reality. And therefore it must unfold within your awareness in the physical 3D world. But not when you're saying you're not the evidence, not when you're looking for more, not when you're saying I know it intellectually. I know it on that 0.0001% of reality. But I don't know the true reality, right? Just waiting. And we got in this discussion of affirmations, because she was affirming quite strongly, right? For weeks, right? And clearly, remember, she goes, Tom, I've heard so much. I've heard so many conflicting views. And she talked about other sessions she's had with other coaches, other YouTube channels, all of that. And she goes, some say you manifest what you affirm. Some say you manifest what you feel. Some say you manifest your emotions. And I said, well, it really is none of that. You don't manifest what you affirm. You don't manifest your feelings. You don't manifest your emotions. You manifest your state of being. You manifest your conviction, the conviction of who and what you think you are, you say you are. That assumption, you manifest what you are convinced of within. It's your conviction. The feeling is a feeling of conviction. You manifest what you feel is real. You manifest what you feel is natural. You don't have to affirm who you already are. Right? It would be like me going around, I am Tom, I am Tom, I know I'm Tom, right? You don't have to manifest that, right? There's nothing wrong with affirmations, but if you're affirming from this state of I am not, that I know it intellectually, but I don't really know it, that's what kept it in the future. When she dropped that story that I know it intellectually, when she moved to that thought that, it's that conviction within, it's feeling it real, and it's already real within me. In 24 hours, she heard from a friend of hers who she had a casual conversation, a realtor, about someone who wanted to sell a pretty big home, a home on the lake, really expensive home. And she just mentioned, hey, you should reach out to that person. That was it. That was weeks ago. And there was probably a thought that she would get something for that. But here's what happened. Her friend called her and said, hey, that house sold, and I just want to tell you, I really thought about it, and I would have never been able to have that opportunity without you, and split the commission with her. Paid off her rent. Hear this. And I'm getting tingles. She goes, I just thought, her friend thought about it. Right? It wasn't just going to be like a finder's fee. She wanted to split the commission. She thought that she could never have it. This is what she created. This was her manifesting a reality, getting into that conviction, that inner conviction, that naturalness, that it's already within her. We're going to talk more about this today and more. So remember, what God knows, God is. So to say you know it intellectually, you know it because you know it, because you are the knowing. It's pure knowing. It's pure awareness. It's omniscience is the only reality, one mind, all knowing. So you know what God knows. And that's why in Scripture it says, be still and know that I am God. In other words, cease striving. Cease saying I know it intellectually, but. Because that's the striving. I know it intellectually, but I need more evidence. I know it intellectually, but I need more outer and inner evidence and proof, right? You are spirit, the real you, the Christ, the Son of the living God, here to know what you already know experientially, right? So you are Christ, the Son of the living God, here to know what you already know experientially, and at the same time, you are the Son of Man. You're that physical personality, here to remember what you already know. So here to remember, in other words, here to know what you're already experiencing. So in a way, the higher self or the soul goes from knowing to experience. And the physical you goes from experience to knowing. Through your experience, you know. That knowing's already in you. So it's all you. Do you hear this? You are that Son of Christ, the Son of God, here to know yourself experientially, but you're also the physical personality to remember who you really are through your experience. So it's all you already, right? It's not an intellectual exercise at all. That's just what we say. That's just what we create that experience. You don't have to force yourself to feel and know anything. You are source. You're source energy, and you're only ever feeling this one energy or emotion, no matter what. It's source. It's love. That's the only emotion, right? You are thinking your story, right? You're only ever, this one energy emotion, you are thinking your story. So you're only ever feeling what you're thinking, that story that you're telling yourself. Source, I am, is being translated through your filter of your mind, the mirror of your mind, which is then reflected in the 3D conditions of your life through your thoughts and assumptions into feeling stories. Your story, your thinking is your story. Into feeling stories of I am weak, I am strong, I am happy, I am sad, etc. Right? Into these, you feel these stories so real that they become a state of being. They feel natural to you. That's what Neville Goddard's talking about, feeling. It's not we're not talking about temporary thoughts and feelings. We're talking about states of being, you defining who you are. Who are you? And you believe what you feel as your reality. You have a conviction that I am that. But when you aspire to the greater reality, to the greater definition of who you are, that unlimitedness, that I am whoever I say I am, and I am who I say I am, not intellectually. I know this because I know this, because I am knowing itself. I am reality itself. That's powerful. So, and yes, as Neville says, there's a vast difference between feeling a thing and merely knowing it intellectually. Yes, but what are we really talking about here? When you say you know it intellectually, you feel separate from what you desire. It doesn't feel natural to you. It doesn't feel like your state of being. Right? Once you're in a state of being, it doesn't matter what you're feeling or what emotions you have during the day. They're going to change. But if you have that feeling that I am that no matter what, that's your state of being. But when you say you know it intellectually, you're saying I am not that. I feel separate from what I want to know. as reality, right? I feel separate from what you feel separate from you. I know it, but I am not it, right? And then Neville goes on to say, when I speak of feeling, I do not mean emotion, but acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled. It's a conviction of fulfillment. You feel grateful and fulfilled and thankful because you accept it. It's you choosing that state of being. It's not saying that I know it intellectually. It's saying I know it because I choose it. I know it because I assume it. Feeling is not talking about being emotional about it. Feeling is not talking about, he's not talking about being emotional about it. It's not about being emotional, right? That's why he said it's not about emotion. It's not about being emotional. Those temporary feelings, emotions come and go throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. What he's saying is feel it real. Feel the conviction that I am that already, which I desire to be. That's what Neville Goddard's talking about. That feeling, by feeling, he is not talking about being emotional about it. He's not talking about temporary feelings and emotions that come and go. He's saying it, feel it real. Feel the conviction that I am that which I desire to be. That's what we're talking about. But when you say I know it intellectually, this is why she moved so quickly, because she was putting it in the future that way, right? Into some putting a condition on it that had to be met, a condition that she has to know it some other way, right? As opposed to just declaring that I feel it real, I am that. Right? She was looking for some other inner conviction. She let go of that story and went to the knowing, right? That conviction of fulfillment. Very powerful here. Feel it real means feel it, it's natural. It's a state of being. I am that. It's a natural feeling of conviction. It's a state of being something or someone, right? You are not your changing emotions. You are not your changing feelings. You're not even your changing thoughts. That's why we said that when you get caught up in the messy middle of thoughts and feelings, of those temporary conditions, that moves you away from that state of being, that conviction that you already are that assumption. This is what Neville Goddard says. The time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. Very clear here that it's a feeling of naturalness. It's a state of being. It's not a temporary thought and feeling of fulfillment. It's a state of being, a conviction within. Feeling is not an emotion. Feeling it real is not an emotion. It's a knowing. Feeling it real is not an emotion. It's not a temporary emotion. It's not a temporary feeling. Right? Emotions the way we see emotions, right? What really is emotion? It's energy and motion. It's source energy. So, but when you say it's a temporary thought or feeling, then you're saying that it's only real when I'm feeling that. You see it? What we're saying is it's a real conviction, a state of being. That's who you are. It's a knowing. It's an inner conviction. It's a state of being. So this whole question of how do I feel something real that I haven't physically experienced yet? That's the other question that came up with her. Well, you do that all the time, right? That's how she probably even got laid off from a job. She probably had that. I think we talked about she had some fears there of money and not having a job, right? And she felt those fears. So you feel those. You feel it all the time. Right? So how do I feel something that hasn't already happened? Well, that layoff didn't happen but she felt it, right? And then she did get laid off, right? It wasn't specifically that she would get laid off. It was that she would the possibility that she wouldn't have a job, or she said those fears always ran in her head. Right? But not now. She gets it that you decide on your conviction. So this whole idea, how do I feel something real that I haven't physically experienced yet? Well, you're always thinking something, and you're always feeling that. And you're always feeling that real. And so that's what we're talking about. Right? And then if you keep feeling it, you keep thinking it, you keep assuming it, it feels like it's who you are. It becomes a state of being. It becomes who you think you are, right? And remember, you're more than all of that. So affirmations can be powerful, robotic or otherwise, right? We talked about affirmations, and so many have so many opinions on it. There's nothing wrong with affirmations, and robotic or otherwise. But when they're not done in vain, So robotic affirmations are not necessarily done in vain unless you're affirming and saying, well, I am not. Intellectually, I know it intellectually, but I really don't know it. I really am not it. This is what she was doing, right? Even, it doesn't matter. It's not really the idea that they're robotic or that you repeat them. It's whether you're doing them in vain from a state of I am not. That's why Neville Goddard said, vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. In other words, of I am not. But it doesn't matter because it's not the feelings that manifest. It's not the affirmations that manifest. It's not the emotions that manifest. It's not the processes that manifest. So however you get there, whatever process, whether it's robotic affirmations, state akin to sleep, scripting, it doesn't matter. What matters is your state of being, your assumption of who and what you are, conscious of being. That feels natural and real. What feels natural and real to you, that's what manifests. Always. So it's a question of going there. Not saying, telling the story that I know it intellectually, but that you know it, that you are knowing itself. You are that knowingness, that awareness of reality. I am is that knowingness. I am is that awareness. You're that all-knowing anyway. That's who you are. So that's what manifests, your assumptions, your state of being. However way you get there, sure, that maybe affirming or some process will help you feel it real. Nothing wrong with that. But again, if you keep saying I am not, if you keep saying, well, I know it intellectually, but, well, then you're telling the opposite story. You're telling the story of what you are not, right? And so the processes, whether it's affirmation, state akin to sleep, or imagining or assuming, all seem like they're being done in vain because nothing's happening, right? I know it intellectually, but is saying I am not. I am that. I am that. I am who I assume I am. Whatever that is. I am that I am. I am whatever I imagine myself to be. I am whoever I say I am. That's natural. That's a knowing. It's not that I am who I assume myself to be intellectually. I am who I assume myself to be, period. Do you get it? It's a knowing. It's the feeling. That's what really it means to feel it real. That's how manifesting really works. It works. It's not necessarily that you manifest your feelings or your affirmations or your emotions or processes or anything else. What you're always manifesting is who and what you're conscious of being. What you're always manifesting is I am that. What you're always manifesting is your assumptions. What you're always manifesting is what feels real and natural to you. That's your whole life experience. That's who you are. Who you are is what you're manifesting. Your self-concept, who you say you are. That's it. That's how it works. That's how manifesting really works. That's the huge breakthrough in 24 hours. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, for joining our TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, and our membership channel. For those of you that have joined the membership channel, thank you for joining. For those who want to check it out, there's a link below. We have a live stream coming this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Coast Standard Time from the studios here in Las Vegas of Be Something Wonderful. I am going to come to you this is October 29th, 2023. I'm going to come to you live answering your questions that you've been sending to me at info@besomethingwonderful.com. We're still receiving questions. Keep sending them. This is going to be broadcast exclusively on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. Creators with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude. This is Tom with Be Something Wonderful here in the studios in Las Vegas. Until next time, see you soon.